Chris or
It
Chris?
takes a tribe.
Is Chris
Chris
Fairless?
Fairless is going to open us up.
Okay, that's what I thought. Now, I can't see anybody but you, and I see Rochelle and Kate. Hey, there's a pretty face. There's a face I know.
Hey, well, I'm so excited, you guys, to be on tonight because there are some very special achievers that earn this call, and you know who you are. In fact, there are several of you, so I can't go through the list of names, but for every level 5 achiever who's attended Naples, you can see all these new faces on tonight, so let's give them a big hand.
Woo!
Good job, you guys. Good job. So proud of you. And so, of course, I'm not going to take away from Kristen's training. I'll tell you, you know, time is really of the essence, really, to get to level 5. Now, you all know that March, there's going to be a special incentive for convention for those who achieve level 5 in March. And that will be preferred tiered seating. And you know you will have a spot guaranteed. And I will tell you there's no missing convention. Absolutely not. It's too important. What you're going to get this year, you would be sorry if you missed out. All right? And of course, we know qualifications for Naples is, you know, April, May, June, and July. Somebody's got a radio.
Chris, hold on just for a second, Chris. There's some background noise, and we're having a hard time hearing you. And I muted everyone else, but if I missed you and I didn't mute you, go ahead and mute your call, because we're still hearing that background noise. I'm not sure what's going on. And it's not your place, right, Chris?
Nope. Well, I think it just
So,
went away. I think somebody just muted themselves, so that's good.
yeah, and I'm still having a hard time hearing you, Chris, so I don't know if you can get...
Or remute, because you got new people. Remute, go back and remute everybody, because there's a few that aren't.
Yeah, I did mute everyone, so I think it's gone now, though.
Okay. All right. So, you know, time is really of the essence. Of course, you know, March being qualification month for level 5. And for some of you who are already level 5, honestly, you want to be level 5 if it's your first time, you've never attended. Well, and I'm talking about the old first level 5 trip to Napa. If you've never achieved that and you obtain level 5 circle, there's going to be a special evening for you on Wednesday, all day, amazing training, special incentives that the rest of the company won't even get. So it's not only time to get to level 5, but to build that volume of 25K too, all right? And then of course, we all know that qualifications for Naples is April, May, June, July. And that's why, honestly, you want to get your sites laser focused on recruiting and doing 3-way calls, because of course that, you know, allows everybody, even your new partners, to become that master storyteller on the job training. And so I think you know your focus. I think you know your goal. And so with that, I'm going to pass it over to our marvelous Laura, who's going to introduce to you Kristen tonight. And I know you guys can do it. And I really look forward to celebrating with you, not only in Naples, but at convention, because we've got a special little surprise for all of those level 5 achievers who achieve that goal. So I'm going to say goodbye.
Well, before you leave, Chris, I just want to say to you guys, you know, first of all, there's a lot of Naples achievers on the call, but there's also some newbies and people who qualified to come on to this call who have never met Chris Fairless. And I have to just say to you guys, this is a huge opportunity, because Chris Fairless, as you probably all know, is the #1 first consultant in the entire world. And there's not very many consultants that have that privilege to be here on a call with Chris and to be able to have this opportunity. So we all adore her, but I just want you guys to know how extremely lucky you guys are to be part of this team and to be able to have that small, intimate group opportunity to spend time with her. And when you qualify for Naples, to actually be in Naples with her and to give her a hug and be able to spend time with her. So we're going to let her drop off, but I just wanted to make sure you guys knew who she was and how absolutely incredible it is for all of us to be able to be part of her team and spend this time with her. So thank you, Chris, for all you do, and we just adore you.
Bye, guys. Have a great meeting.
All right. Thanks, Chris. And so what I wanted to do is we're going to have somebody extra special share some information with you tonight. And the reason why we selected Kristen Young to do tonight's training is because, you know, and she'll tell you her story, but some things that she's been doing recently has made everyone take notice. One of the things that we all have been working on is to develop new level 2s, because we know that's the sweet spot. You can't get to level 5 until you get to level 2, right? So that's kind of a nice stepping stone to that place. And this girl's team is on fire. Not only is she developed a new level 2, she's got one that's coming up to level 2. And not only did they get close and achieve level 2, but she's actually, their volume is through the roof. And so I went to her on Monday, it was actually before Monday, and I said, okay, tell me what you're doing. And she knocked it out of the park Monday with all of our leaders and told them on Team Pay It Forward what she was doing. And they were just blown away. And so I asked her, and Rochelle and Chris asked her, and Amanda, if she would share it with all of you guys tonight. So without further ado, and then I've got a couple slides that I'm gonna kind of, after she shares what she's been doing, I'm gonna kind of show you guys visually kind of exactly what she's doing as well. So we'll kind of reiterate it. And we are recording this so that you guys can listen to this after the fact, but definitely take notes. So Kristen Young, you want to come on and just really quick tell everybody, because maybe not everybody knows where you're at. So I told you you didn't have to share your story, but maybe a small part of it because they may not know who you are. So hold on for a second. There you go. And I'm going to mute myself.
Okay, ready? Can you
Yep,
hear me?
we're ready.
Okay. Hello, I'm Kristen Young. I am a level 5 out of Southlake, Texas. I have been in this business, oh my gracious, we're going on 7 years this year. And I really had a turning point in my business, what, 3-4 weeks ago. 1099s arrived, right? And my husband was looking through the different ones because we've got more than one. And he handed me my RNF one. And he said, are you making minimum wage at this for the hours you put in? And guys, it was a real light bulb moment. And I was telling Laura, it really made me, and I was in my chair doing something RNF related at the time, and it really made me take a look at my RNF business and the way I operated it and how it was different from the other businesses that I still own and operate. And, you know, it was a big, I'm going to either do this and hit the reset button or not. And I need to make up my mind. And this business is very important to me. The people on my team are incredibly important to me. And it kind of settled in that I was spending too much time chasing the people that didn't want it. And Laura knows I've always done this, always done it. I wanted it more for them than they did. And I really just said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to reevaluate. I kind of laid out a plan for myself for the first quarter. And I said, if it doesn't work, I'll reevaluate at the end of the first quarter, just like I've done every other business plan, right? So what I did after I hit that reset button is I took a look at my org. And if they were dead bodies and I knew it, and I knew they didn't respond to reach outs and whatnot, sent them one final thing and said, I'm setting a reset button. Would you like to? Or have you decided this isn't a fit? Didn't want to make an assumption on their behalf. I wanted them to clarify that assumption. Now, some of them didn't even bother to respond. One of them went, you know what? I'm in a better place and I'm ready to do this. And she's my new level 2 last month. So don't discount people that have been there with you, okay? The next thing I did was I decided to absolutely leave the dead bodies behind. They're not my fault. They want in the witness protection program, so I'm leaving them there. Started doing some research. You guys, we've got the best training out there. Our daily experience is such a gift. Our challenges are amazing. We've got these amazing, generous leaders that are willing to share with us their best practices. And what I did was I decided I am really I'm gonna go back to the basics. In the beginning, I used to always teach and train. If it's not duplicatable, don't do it. Yet I was doing it myself years and years. Laura knows. She would say, bring me a 3-way call. And I'd be like, oh, just that word gives me the hives. Don't make me bring you a 3-way call. Well, Marissa has a video, and I think it's called Nuggets of a 3-Way Call. I'll post it on here a little bit later if you want. But I listened to that call not once, not twice, probably 3 times. And I started thinking of the different ways to incorporate it. I was thinking of my coaching calls with my runners and what their complaints were. And 3-way calls, truthfully, I'd been back and forth on them over the years. And what Marissa does in this call is she teaches several things that are awesome nuggets. And the first is when you're talking with a prospect, give them the sizzle. Don't serve them the whole steak. And the other way we always say that is don't vomit RNF all over them. So I kind of like the sizzle versus the steak better. But she says, don't do that. Make sure they're interested. And I remember these days so well. I'd have this prospect. I was super excited about them and they're wanting information. Can you send me an email? Can you send me a link? And then we got a little more advanced and we'd send videos and we'd do all this via email, right? Well, I really figured out that, and Marissa's help, I love this video. She was like, no, that's where they don't know what they don't know. Be a leader. Show them as the leader. This is what we do. This is the way we run this business. I am thrilled you're interested. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a call. I want you to take the time to listen to it. Now, when you're listening, there's so many good nuggets in here. You're going to want to jot down a few notes. Do you think you can listen to this call tonight? Quiet. First one to speak loses. Be quiet. Let them answer you. Yeah, I think I can listen to it tonight. Perfect. Once you do that, I want to introduce you to my friend and business partner, Kim. I think you're going to hit it off. What works best for you? Morning, afternoon, evening? They think about their schedule. Tomorrow they answer. Okay, I'm going to put us together in a text loop. I can't wait to introduce you guys. I'm going to set the appointment in that loop, okay? That's the whole purpose for this text loop. Once they've agreed, they're going to listen to the phone call, they're going to take some notes, and they're going to speak to you and Kim tomorrow at 2. So you put together a loop with the 3 of you in it, and it simply says, ladies, I'm so excited to talk to you and share more with you tomorrow at 2. Now this is an appointment. Now she just didn't say, yeah, call me tomorrow, I'll talk to you. It's an appointment. It's in her schedule. She knows it's on 2 other people's schedule. Hopefully they'll be considerate and honor that, okay? So that's what we're doing with that. Next, they're listening to this call, guys, and because they are, it's shortening this 3-way call drastically. I have even been setting a timer, 15 minutes. And man, if it's getting close to that 10-minute mark, I need to be asking the question, what do you think? On a scale of 1 to 10, where's your interest? Because you're starting the call asking the question, you listen to the call, what are you most excited about? And you're letting them feed you. Now, there's some other great nuggets in this call, and I'm not going to do it all here tonight because you're all going to go listen to this call and study it. It's that good. But she gives you the bullet points that your team member is required to send to you before you even get on that call. These calls are so well qualified and you're so prepared and they're so productive that you will never get off a call again that you didn't accomplish something. The goal obviously being in new enrollment. That doesn't happen you're going to turn them into a PC. And when you turn them into the PC, you're going to say, you know what? You've heard so much about my business and what I'm doing. Who do you know this would be perfect for? I build this business on referrals. Please share. So you've got a purpose to that. Now, the other call that, and this is going to tell you how far back I went, it was February last year, and it's Heather Nanuris, and it's called Check Yourself Before You Wreck Yourself. And I love her video because, you know how sometimes you hear some training and it really hits home with you and you haven't even realized you've been doing that. A lot of people 10 years ago who know me, if you had asked them if I would ever be doing anything like this, they would have laughed you out of the room. I mean, Chris, no way. No way would she ever do that. She's too busy with all the other stuff she does. So, assumptions. And one of the things my team was having a problem with, making assumptions. So I took a couple things from her call. The first of which was, she makes a statement that the average millionaire has 7 different streams of income. That is very helpful when somebody just needs to do it scared and get out of their comfort zone. I decided a long time, I've never had a chicken list. And I've never talked to anybody else who didn't have a chicken list. And I realized the first time somebody popped in my brain that I went, ooh, I don't know how she'll react. I just picked up the phone and called her. That's why she never went on a list. So this is helping my team, especially with my newbies, when I just flat out say, would you ever think I would be doing anything like this? They're like, no, I wouldn't. And the 7 different streams of income for the average millionaire. All in the world we're doing is saying, would you be willing to take a look at what I do? Because most successful people, I was shown a new opportunity just yesterday. Most successful people are not going to say no to something that they have no idea what they're saying no to. So again, we're taking control. We're saying this is how we do this because they don't know what we're out for. We might just want a referral. We might truly want an opinion from a successful entrepreneur that we respect. You know, this is what I'm doing now. Do you have anybody that would be a fit? Do you have any suggestions? Once you speak to somebody who's built a business, it's so nice to get their feedback because the positive affirmations are nice. And if you can visualize them joining your team, they can possibly visualize joining it themselves. So don't neglect that. Do not make that assumption. Don't think, you know, they're not going to be interested because it's just not true. Now, the other thing that Heather's video really was awesome about, and she talks about something called SAC, as lovely as that is. But what you do is you assess the situation. And let's say you were in the 21-day challenge and you sent out 200 reach outs in 10 days. And of those 200 reach outs, 189 of them are crickets. And they're just not saying anything to you. Or maybe they weren't crickets, but you started a conversation and everything was going well and all of a sudden they fell off the face of the earth. You know, you don't know where you're at. So what Heather teaches is let's sack it. And that is reach out and explain the situation. Maybe it's, you know, the last time we talked, you were super excited about joining my team. You wanted to talk to your husband before you committed. I have reached out several times with no response. I hope everything's okay. I can only assume that maybe I didn't give you all the information you needed, or I said or did something that possibly offended you. I certainly hope that's not the case. Could you please let me know if I'm correct? And you're checking the situation. You know, you're saying, this is the situation. This is my assumption. Can you confirm or deny if I'm correct? And Heather says her reach outs, I mean, she's getting like almost 100% response rate. And that's just phenomenal. So with my teammates that were very discouraged over crickets or getting all excited and then they fall off the face of the earth, this has been really healthy for them too. Then the other thing I did was I looked at what I was doing on my team page. I looked at the incentives I was offering. And, you know, we all love great purses or an awesome new pair of Chanel sunglasses or whatever it might be. But did they join my business because they wanted a designer purse? Or did they join my business because they wanted to earn some extra cash? And I, again, just keeping it with the fundamentals, following the system. I love what corporate's just done for us with Spark, because they simplified it. It was a lot when a new consultant came on and we had to explain Spark and we had to explain Lead the Way and they couldn't figure out which was which. So with what they've done with Spark, they've really simplified it for us, that if you will just jump on board, follow this plan, and granted, Spark is slow, but you know what? It gives everybody a chance to build it and get successful. So now that they get their Lead the Way miles at the end of the Spark program, it's so nice because they're working, they're earning their investment back, they're doing. Now, Lead the Way is important, and it's super important for those of us who've been in the business for a while. So back to my team page, what I did in January is I put it out there. I just got a really great picture of a $100 bill. And I said, guys, Lead the Way milestone 1. Every one of you who hits milestone 1, this is yours. And I got a lot of different responses and a lot of different feedback. And one of them was like, well, wait a minute, if I hit 5, can I have that? And I said, sure, I'll pay you for that too. So Spark, not Spark, Lead the Way in January cost me $400. Was the happiest $400 I've spent in this business, because I have girls, one of mine are not only milestone 1, but also milestone 2. But it's just a great incentive. And I guess that's what I'm challenging you to do. If you need a little bit of a reset, make sure the rewards you're offering are rewards that will make them happy. You know, I got the privilege of, I personally delivered flowers and cash and cards, and it was so much fun. So I'm really investing back into my team and my business and getting to spend time with my business partners that really want it. And I think that that is probably the most valuable thing I've done. I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. I know Laura wants to go over a few highlights with you.
Talk about you said before about the reason why you wanted to go for getting those level 2s.
Well, you know, Naples was incredible. If you were there, you know, and truly for me, it was pivotal. How's that for a word? Pivotal in my business. Chris and I were talking, and when we were talking about it, she said, you know, we just prayed the Holy Spirit would show up. And ever since then, all I tell people is he did. He showed up in such a major way. He showed up and he showed off. And I love the relationships we built there. That time there was so special. So when I came home, I wanted more level 5s. We all want more level 5s. But the bottom line is you can't get a level 5 until you get a level 2. And once you get a level 2 and they've fallen into that system and those phenomenal habits, and they're teaching their new recruits to fall into and use that system and do these things and these activities on a daily basis, it makes such a difference. So I simply decided I need 4 or 5 new level 2s before I can have 4 or 5 new level 5s. And that therein was my reasoning.
And they have a pretty good carrot out there, corporate does, for Strive to 5, for the sponsor, as well as the new level 5. And that's going to be, we don't know what it is yet, but that's going to be that, you know, the doctors have been involved in that special gift. Now, a couple of things I want to say about Kristen's story, and then I'm going to share the screen and show you guys the PowerPoint. Kristen made a comment about not being happy with her paycheck in January, so she's wanting to take the business to the next level. But you should know a little. And then also, Kristen made a point about giving $100 gifts to, not every consultant can do that. But maybe, Kristen, you can tell a little bit about, maybe start with how big your house is. So they can start to understand that Kristen is a different situation. She's a level 5. She's doing very well when other level 5s, they'd say, oh my gosh, if I could just do what you're doing paycheck wise, that would be something good for them. But Kristen is used to, having very high income, if I could say that. How big is your house, Kristen? 20,000 square feet, maybe? Okay, wait. Now I can't hear you.
It's not that big. I think we're somewhere over 9 now. This is our downsize, remember?
Yeah,
rented
okay.
your house.
Okay, I was into that. But so I just wanted to set that, I wanted to make sure, because when they say, gee, a level 5 is complaining about her paycheck and she's giving $100 a person for milestone 1, I had to kind of make sure that everybody understood that.
Okay.
Laura,
Yeah.
I also want to say, because she even talked about how we assume and prejudge, the average person that knows Kristen and the kind of money her husband made with their businesses.
And Kristen made. You have
Well,
to.
that's what I said. Kristen and her husband make.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, with their businesses. She would be the first one that you would go, she would never need this. She would never see this. I mean, you are the epitome of people prejudging.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen your house on Facebook, and you just said you just didn't downsize. I mean, you live in a flipping mansion. And I just wanted to bring that to y'all's attention. And I mean, she's sitting on this call ready because she wasn't pleased with her paycheck. So guys, look at your paycheck. If you're not pleased and you're not happy where your business is, it's time to hit the reset. Man, I got that written on my page, big letters, because I feel like I did that earlier this year. Laura and I did a lot of, collaborating, and I can honestly say, we just hit our perfect circle team, but it was like, I'm not pleased with where we are. It's not going in there's too much happening to me. So I hit reset this year, and I am excited to hear what you share, Kristen. Thank you so much. Awesome. And now I'll be quiet.
Well, and then Kristen and I are going to do the next part together. I'm going to share my screen. So we're going to kind of go ahead and break this down for you guys, and so that you guys can kind of see visually. It's always nice to see something a couple times. So the first step that Kristen said is to give the sizzle and not the steak, right? The sizzle and not the steak. And one thing that Kristen said too is, going back to the basics. What are the basics? That's following the system. Because when you follow the system, when you make the system do all the work for you, it's duplicatable. If you do something different every time, how will other people learn to do it? And so I think if you go home with anything after this call tonight, it's about following the system. Surrender to the system. Be coachable. Do the same thing every time. And this is a reminder for all of us to know what the system is. And that's what Marissa McDonough did in that video. And we'll make sure that it's in the Naples Achievers page. It's on Team Pay It Forward page. I know, Rochelle, I don't know if you're going to put it on your page, but we'll get it on those pages. And the sizzle, don't tell them everything. All you're doing is you're telling them what you're doing. I partner with the doctors, Creative Proactive, or I work with Rodan and Fields, the Proactive doctors, and your store, why you're doing it, and find out, are they open to learn more? Or they look, would they like to have more information? There's lots of ways that you can do that, but it's always about telling them what you're doing and would they like to know more? And Kristen, what are maybe 2 or 3 things that you do to give that sizzle? Give me two scenarios. Or what are you sharing with your team to do?
The thing that's happening to me a lot is, somebody will pay me a compliment, and it kind of started when I hit the big 50, and it's nice because all my daughter's friends' parents are younger, significantly younger than we are. And I learned to use that as a stepping stone to my business. When people hear I'm 50 or soon to be 52 now, they'll say, oh my God, I have no idea. I would have never guessed you were in your 50s. And my first comeback is, well, that's good. My business is skincare. And they're like, what? And so I make it about that immediately. And then, yes, I partnered with the doctors who created Proactive. Have you heard of Rodan and Fields? And we just kind of start there. And if possible, I always pay them a compliment right off the bat to tell them why I think this could be a fit for them. I know that you're working your tail off and you've got 2 young ones at home. You have such a phenomenal personality. You've never spoken to a stranger. Can we sit down and chat about this sometime?
Right.
Just need a couple minutes. And, there are times when if it's me one-on-one, I don't get to use the call. If it's time and you're having cocktails with friends or whatever, and it really turns into something. But again, my big tip on that is don't give them too much. Don't give them too much that time. When you're talking, continue to turn it back around to them and their interest. And if it's in someone I've just met, my goal is to find their pain points. What in your life can we help change? Because they always have pain points. Right. Another scenario that I get to share my story. I travel a lot, and that's really nice because people will ask, what do you do? Because if you're running around an auto auction on a Tuesday, they're kind of like, you're not at work. What do you do? So that gives me a lot of options too. But it's like all the training you've ever heard, make it about them. Pay a total stranger a compliment. If you've been kind of watching and seeing it at the auto auction, that happened a lot for me, that I could pay a compliment, start a conversation, learn their information, share a sample, just be authentic, be yourself, let it happen. What you do is fabulous, and it's a gift to share.
And remember, guys, you don't have to overthink that part. Sizzling is, you're just, sometimes when I'm at lunch, I'll ask the waitress, has someone shared Rodan and Fields with you yet? Have you heard about Rodan and Fields yet? That's the common language that I use. Have you heard of Rodan and Fields yet? Or, somebody saying, oh, I just hate my job. Well, you should think about doing what I do. Would you be open to learning more? It's just so easy. It's just you're bringing it up in conversation, right? Step number 2, and this is Marissa's training, and this is what Kristen's been doing to really grow her business. And this is the system that Rochelle and I have known for years and years and years, and sometimes consultants follow systems and sometimes they don't, is once they have interest and they want to learn more, send them an opportunity call. And one of Kristen's favorites is Romy's. It's 20 minutes. It's a little longer than she likes, but it's so well done. And it's a tiny URL instead of a phone number. You just click and play. And this is what you say to them. But one of the things that Marissa says in her video that I want to stress is that you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. So don't go hunting for the perfect opportunity call. It doesn't matter. Use the same one over and over and over. So you get their interest. Kristen, do you have a comment on that?
You put in here and manage the appointment. And guys, this is so important. Whether you're speaking to somebody the first or second time or the 15th, manage that appointment. Again, they don't know what they don't know. You want to work from appointment to appointment because this is your priority right now. It's not their priority. If you don't follow up for a week, you're going to forget. Chances are they are. But make it your priority and put that loop in such a way that if you can complete they're listening to Romy's call or whatever call you choose. There's a hairdresser call out there too for hairdressers that's like 5 minutes, short and sweet. But if you can do that and get them on that three-way call with your upline, sideline, whoever, do it in 24 hours. I mean, the sooner it's completed and you're moving towards that appointment earlier, they understand you're treating this like a business. This isn't some little party plan, whatever. This is a business. Your time is important. You have to schedule it. It's an appointment with your upline, and boom, boom, manage that appointment. Make it a priority.
Right. And so what she's saying is you don't want to just say to them, you know, can you listen to Romy's call today or tonight? You don't want to say to them, you know, hey, can you listen to this call I'm going to send you and I'll get back to you. You want to be in control. People want you to tell them what to do. They want to be guided through the process. And so here is the language here, and I will put this on the recording on the team page as well, or the Naples Achievers page, and so that you can see it and listen to it, write it down. I just kept stopping Marissa's video, and I wrote this down word from her video training. Because I was like Kristen, I listened to it more than once. It was that incredible. It was that awesome. And so you've kind of told them they're interested. You said, okay, I've got a call for you to listen to. It sounds like you've got some interest. I would love to give you some information. Can you listen to this call? It's 20 minutes tonight or today. And listen, and they say, sure, I have tonight. Awesome. After the call, it's a great call. It's about 20 minutes. I want you to take notes. And then the next step, so you're telling them what the next step is going to be introducing to you my friend, Kristen. And it's going to be, you're going to love to hear her story. It's great to have another perspective. You're going to really relate to her and she can answer any questions. And always give them 2 times. I always heard that years and years ago. And 24 hours, like Kristen says. Does 2 or 4 tomorrow work for you? So always give them 2 times, right? You've already kind of set it up. You kind of had talked to Kristen beforehand to let her know what's your availability tomorrow. Right. So let's go to step 3. And this was, I thought, like brilliant. And Marissa didn't take credit for this. This is somebody on Marissa's team, is that text loop. Is text to all parties, you know, your prospect and to Kristen, and you're putting them in a text together, and you just say, ladies, so looking forward to meeting everyone tomorrow at 2. And then that way you've actually treated this like a business, and you have let that prospect know that this is an appointment, that you've scheduled an appointment, so that you're not going to get on the phone and, you know, so-and-so doesn't show up. So it's a really great way to, I think it's just such an awesome, awesome idea. And then step 4, which Kristen referred to, and this one, you know, I don't really require this one. I can talk to them a couple minutes before the call and get this from them, or they can send me a text. But Marissa likes to receive this in an email, and she wants to know the name of the prospect, the city and the state, what's in it for them, what are their pain points, like Kristen said. Maybe you know they have a new baby they're expecting. Maybe they've shared with you that they are in debt or whatever it is. What do you think their objections might be? What do they know? What do they do now or in the past, and why do you want them? So it's really nice. We usually do that when we do 3-way calls, right? We're right on there a couple minutes before and we get this information. So, you know, work with the person that you're talking to and find out what they would prefer. But this is the information you want to know before that 3-way call.
I changed this a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't ask them to share their objections, because to me, at that early state of the game, they're not.
That's a good point. They're not sharing their objections. Yeah. This is what let's say you're talking to your prospect and you're sending this to me. You're going to say to me, you know, I think that she might say she doesn't have enough time.
Yeah.
You know, so this is not that you know that this is their objection. This is what you're thinking that might be something that.
And the other thing is, you know, if you're bringing someone a 3-way call, they're pretty well versed in handling objections, and they're going
Right.
to go to the feel, felt, found. They're going to do the things they know to do. But I don't want somebody to put it in my head unless if somebody has said to you, there is no way in the world I can get together $700 or $1,000, then yeah, tell me that. That's okay if you know it for a fact. But I don't want you to make an assumption and bring it to me and put it between my ears. Okay, I want to keep that clean. I would like to know their name. Where they're from is pretty irrelevant for me. Pain points are what's important to me, because I think that's our sizzle. We have fun. This is not a painful business. We have fun, and we can give them time freedom and financial freedom. And again, what Marissa said, I've really changed the way I do three-way calls. And I start with, what are you most excited about? I don't even start with my story anymore, because it leads to that.
Well, let's go to that next cell. So the step 5 is the three-way call itself. And like you just said, I mean, they've already heard the call with Romy, and Romy does such an awesome job going through everything. So they already know, they've taken down notes. And so the first thing you do is you ask them, you know, what are you excited most about with Rodana Fields? And then of course you tell them there's the story, and then the 4 P's, you know, the share the facts, you know, the presence of the doctors, the power of the brand, the products, the programs. And then what questions, you know, I've given you a lot of information. You've heard the call, you've heard my story, the facts that, you know, interested me. You know, what questions do you have? You know, handle any objections. And then the closing question, you know, on a scale 1 to 10, you know, 1 being don't ever call me again, and 10 being like, okay, can't wait to get started. Where would you rate your interest level? And I love how Marissa does this. And a lot of us have done that closing 1 to 10 question, because like I was telling some of my new consultants, we're just sorting like laundry, dark, white, and yellow, you know, light colors. We're just kind of putting them where they expect to be. And so 1 through 4 is not interested. That's when you take them through the solution tool, guys. That's when you turn them into a customer. You know, and my job would say, okay, I'm going to drop off the line now, but Kristen's going to walk you through our customer tool to identify what the doctors would recommend for your skin, and identify 3 to 4 people you might know who will want to know about these products. She's building her business on referrals. So that's when I drop off the call. Kristen takes her through the solution tool, gives her the options for purchasing as a customer. If there are 5 to 7, sounds like we haven't answered some of your questions. Tell me what information could I provide to help you move from an 8 to a 10. And then, of course, 8 to 10, you know, it sounds like this is the right time for you to get started. I'm going to drop off. And that's the enrollment call, you guys. And Kristen's going to actually, you know, get her enrolled. So,
and I want to throw one other thing out there for the leaders that are getting a lot of three-way calls. And this was so nice for me, because you're going to tell your newbie or whoever is bringing you the call, you're going to tell your business partner as you're doing this training with them, guys, I mean it. I'm not going to say I'm going to drop off the call and hang around and tell you how to do it. I'm going to drop off this call. And this is your relationship to master and navigate. And when I drop off the call and you're taking them through the solution tool, if they're going to be a PC, you're talking to them and you're saying, you know, we've given you a lot of information. You listened to Romy's fabulous call, or who's ever you sent. Who popped in your mind? Didn't 1 or 2 people occur to you? You know what? This might be perfect for her. If so, I would love your referrals. I'll reward you with some of these products and things, you know, if they join my team or whatever it might be. And then obviously we'll teach them to go back and revisit that depending on what their referrals say and how they do play out in your business coming forward. But as a leader, once you get to drop off that call, guys, it shortens those calls. You really are on only 15 minutes, because I've always wanted a 15-minute call. Laura will tell you I'm a talker. I never can have a 15-minute call. But now that I can say I'm going to drop off the line and Shannon, you take care of this, she does, I do, everybody's happy. Helps.
All right, so we've gone over a little bit, but I just wanted to, you know, kind of reiterate this is exactly, I mean, Rochelle and I have been here for, and Chris, of course, but she's dropped off since the very beginning. This is the system that we always use without the text loop. That was a great idea. And we built our businesses on it, and we do three-way calls, but not everyone is plugging into three-way calls the way they should. But this, with the, first of all, the addition of giving them the call first and then bringing them on the three-way call and then managing that appointment like that is just so genius, because it qualifies that person, and it's a lot less work for all of us because it's really giving them the information and qualifying them. And this is how the fastest growing teams are building their businesses, is through three-way calls. And notice we don't use the term three-way call with our prospects. We just tell them, this is our step, this is the next step. I want to introduce you to my friend or introduce you to my business partner.
And don't
So,
ask if you'd be willing to jump on a call. Once they've listened to the call that you ask if they would like to listen to, it is, just like you said, it's the next step. We're going to jump on a call with, and you're good.
exactly. So I just want to open it up to, let me stop the sharing here. Anybody have any questions? Let's unmute. And Kristen, if you're okay to be willing to answer any questions if anybody has them. And I'm trying to manage, unmute. Oh, okay. So first of all, any questions about the process? I mean, it is just so simple. Any feedback? Pardon?
Hey, Laura.
Hi, Camille.
Dallas.
I lost your, I can't hear you now. I can't hear you. I feel like you're trying to get
Here's Dallas. If they just refuse to get on the phone, oh no, I don't want to, do that, even though you're saying, hey, this is the next step. Or do you ever offer an alternative if they just don't want to get on the phone with somebody?
You know what? I'm going to say, if they don't want to get on the phone with somebody, this is not a good business for them. I'm really being that blunt anymore.
Kristen, I can't hear you.
Oh, I said, truthfully, if they don't want to get on the phone with somebody, I have to wonder, is this business a fit for them? And Shannon's got two newbies that are in their 20s, and it has been challenging. They don't want to post on Facebook. They don't want to get on the phone. They're not having much success. One enrolled the other, and that was it. And they're very much do it their own way. And if somebody out there is one of those newbies and you know a way, tell us. We want to know. I have not found a good response to that.
I'd say, one of the things I would do is, I agree with Kristen, I would say, you know what, why don't you listen to the call and let me know if you're interested and ready to move to the next step, and then we'll schedule that at that time. And that's how I would just do it. I'd still send in the call, but I'd say, the next step, let me know when you're ready.
There's so much background noise. If
Yeah,
you're not talking, if you can mute yourself, that would be great. We're hearing somebody's TV or something.
Okay, so I did mute everyone. And then let me unmute Kristen though, and Rochelle. So if there's any other questions, unmute yourself.
I
have a
Rebecca,
question.
did you have a question?
Yeah, I sure do. Hey, Laura.
Hi.
That was great information, and I am a stickler for organized information, so I totally appreciate the PowerPoint slides. Having said that, one of my questions is, where do I find these little videos that are geared towards specific people types, like Kristen mentioned, the hairdresser one? I'm sure there's a plethora of videos that would address specific
Yeah,
types of
they're all in
people.
a page, aren't they? There's a group with those.
Facebook page called Sharing Our Gift, Rodan and Field's Opportunity Call. But guys, don't go back there and get lost. And I mean, they're good calls, don't get me wrong. But again, it doesn't matter. They're all good calls. And the
That's
thing
what I was
about,
going to say. The information is the information at the end of the day.
I'm not sending Romy's calls to just old attorneys or just old PR people. It's just good information. Yeah, it's a little long. And if I know I'm going to lose somebody with 20 minutes, I try to do a shorter one. You know, don't kill yourself over it. But if you're just looking for something to listen to, that's the place. And if you go, somebody made me an admin and I can add you, you do have to request to join, but it's Facebook sharing our, is it sharing our gift or sharing our
opportunity, sharing our gift. Yeah. But I say the same thing as Kristen and Rochelle. Don't over, I mean, I'm just sending everyone Romy's unless I, you know, maybe once in a while I'll send them something else different, but I'm just sending the same one because you know why? Why do you think I say that? It's duplicatable. If you teach your consultant to go find the perfect opportunity call, it's going to slow them down. Send them the same one over. Plus, the other thing, they always say you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. There's been times I've had the perfect presentation and they don't join me because it's not the right timing. And there's other times I flubbed up so bad, I thought for sure they would run and they joined me. So it's not about what you say. It's not about, you know, it's about whether timing is right for them.
One more thing about that call. Her language. Oh my gosh. I mean, her language is just spot on. I don't mind if I have a consultant that's going to do an event or something like that, and she's so worried about her language and the words she's going to use. I'm like, turn that dude on and listen to it while you're putting your makeup on. It's just very good, precise language. The terminology is compliant. You know, it's a good place to start. It's just a good call.
And it's really good about, and I love it because it differentiates, it talks about how our products are different in the marketplace. Like I had a woman reach out to me. I had been messaging her on Facebook. And here's another thing, you know, again, use that process. She reached out to me and I reached out to her on Facebook and we were talking about, do you still have interest? We talked a while ago and she says, no, I'm not interested. I use products from a dermatologist. So guess what I did? I said, you know, I totally understand. You know, I have a lot of customers that felt the same way, you know, use the feel, felt, found. I'd love to have you listen to this call though, because it teaches, or I can't remember what I said, but it's a really good information about how our products are different from products out there in the marketplace. Would you give it a call? Would you listen to it tonight? You know, so that is just always a good way to send that as the next part of the process. Mm-hmm. Great question. Thanks so much, Rebecca. Anyone else?
You're welcome.
Question?
I want to say, Laura, it goes back to the basics. The power of the third party voice. People that don't want to do three-way calls. I mean, it's like you're trying to get three-way calls. And I've looked at my organization and the growth lately. Where is the growth lacking? We used to do three-way calls like crazy. And then all of a sudden those three-way calls just started dropping off. Well, if there's no three-way calls, there's no third-party validation, there's no third-party voice, guys, you're missing the boat. And like we do information meetings. I know Laura does information meetings. Guys, all of these things are third-party voices that if they're not being used, you're missing the boat. And that is really what I wanted to say. And you need to look at your organization. You know, it's like I was telling my team, we've got systems, and before we go jumping into a whole new system, I wanted my leaders to listen to this, because then we've got to get the systems for our team. I can't have these leaders running this way and these leaders running this way. There's got to be a unity here. So whatever you're going to implement in your team, it needs to be implemented as a group. And so that was another thing, because you don't want, if you're going to be doing training calls and you're teaching your team, everybody needs to be on the same page.
And the other thing this has done for me is it's really helped people plug into my team page, crazy enough, because when somebody wants to bring me a three-way call, I'm like, okay, I'll look for your text loop. And they say, your what? My what? I'm like, you need to go listen to the call, because you need to qualify it before you bring it to me. Where do I find the call? I send them to the team page. And that's been nice, because that activity there helps them love on and support each other. So I like that a lot.
And there's a lot of other activities, guys. You know, there's birthday posts and posting on Facebook and 21-day challenges and virtual events and BBLs and lots of ways that you're going to develop prospects, right? And get new leads and, you know, samples and things like that. But once you find people that are interested, always take them through this system, because the system is going to do the duplication for you. It's such a simple system. Every trainer I've ever heard, they say the biggest organizations have the simplest systems that they follow. And so when you can hand a CD, or when you can say, here's a call with new technology, years ago in this industry, they'd hand somebody a CD for them to go home and listen to. And we don't have to do that. We could send them Romy's call. They can click and play on their cell phone. And it's just so simple. And then you can schedule the appointment to get them on the call the next day. And can you imagine if every single one of your team members did that? You know, that would be awesome. So hopefully this was valuable to you guys. Leverage Romy's call. Leverage whatever call you know, but don't go hunting for the perfect one.
Thing, whatever call you choose as a team, because sometimes people might not want to use Romy's, and so I feel like we need to figure out what you're going to use and then use it.
Exactly. There's some really good ones out there. Chris has got one too, but hers is was November. It doesn't have the Spark information in it, so you guys can, you know, look at that page and find the perfect one that you want, and then just go with the same one over and over.
I promise.
All right.
Laura,
Yeah, Tracy.
that what we have problem with in Australia is trying to access those calls from the RF opportunity page. We can't play them.
Yeah, the Romy's call you can, because it's a tiny URL and you just hit play.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we had that issue earlier today with somebody else too. So just use that one or the other ones that have tiny URLs, and then they can just play. I tell you, the one I send to a lot of people, and I've sent to some to you guys, is Natalie Flowers' YouTube video. She doesn't go through like the whole story, but her husband's a Harvard business grad, and he's the one that she says, mark my words, I'll replace your income in 2 years. And he said, oh, you know, you think that little skincare business is going to do that? And she did in 3 years. And I love that video. It's really well done. Natalie Flowers on YouTube. And you can just look up her. I've sent her that one too a lot. But again, it doesn't matter what you send them. You know, just don't send them this whole big email with all this information and videos and attachments, and it's just overwhelming. Just send them that, but manage the next appointment. And if you do that and you teach that to your team members to do the same, many of you are wanting to qualify for volume and title goals this year, and for Naples, and March's qualification for convention. There's a lot of things coming up this year. And so this is the best way, the simplest way for you to get those new level 2s and those new level 5s. Events. Always drive the pace of your team with events, guest attending events, and three-way calls. That's it, guys. Invite, present, and get new consultants started. Event and present and get people started. Those are the only skills I heard years ago. Those are the only 3 skills that we ever have to master as consultants. Invite, present, and the present is the 3-way call, and then getting a new consultant started. All right. Well, we went a little over, but we wanted to spend some extra time.
The next call is March, the first Wednesday of March. What is that? That is March 7th. So that should be easy since today was the 7th. And there will be, we'll get back with you guys on what the requirement for you to bring anybody on next month's call. But hey, right now we're right in the middle of, everybody should be running to go get those 20 hydration samples. So recruit. You should be recruiting for that. And we'll get back with you. We'll be posting in the team page, in the Naples page, letting you know any more details. Thank y'all so much.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Laura, can you add us to the Naples page? Have you got a Facebook?
Well, the Naples page is for achievers who qualify for Naples. But
you have to have gone to Naples for that.
Yeah, so this one, though, the Naples Achievers, we were able to, when you qualified to attend this call, that's why were invited to attend.
Okay, I thought you had a page. Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself, sorry.
Yes, you'll be in Naples. All right, bye, everyone.
Thanks, bye.